Welcome to the Keys to Success podcast with your host, Deborah Douglas. And today I do not have my beautiful host, Talisa, with me. She had some other events, but we are going to still see what we can do to get this going. And I have a beautiful co-host with me today, Miss Nikki McBride. I am so honored to have you on the show today. How are you doing today?
I am delighted to be here, and it is an honor to be in your presence as well. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Okay, y'all. Nikki is not really, she's being real shy about what she's all about. So I'm going to read her bio so that y'all know exactly who Nikki is and everything that she is about, because she is freaking amazing and the world needs to know about Nikki McBride. So I'm going to read her bio really quick because I want y'all to know who Nikki McBride is. She is a wife, a mother of 2 sons. She specializes in interior design, custom audio and video. She's a great communicator, author, woman builder, and developer of her own custom homes. She has been trained by contractors and a builder for over 30 years of experience. She and her husband literally started with nothing but the faith of God. And when I tell you guys, she is inspiring, she is educated, she has impacted not just my life, but so many other people with her unique gifts of how to build and renovate their own custom home. I could go on and on about how amazing Nikki is, but I will tell you, with her 26 years of experience, she's worked alongside not only her husband, Dave, but they have working with people with the audio and video solutions, people like talk show host Dr. Phil, NFL and NBA players and coaches, major league players, and so many more people. And she's actually going to help me with my house, but we talk about that later. But I just want y'all to know it is an honor and a privilege to have Nikki on our show today. And I'm going to just tell the viewers this of how we got connected. Shout out to Nikki Watson that had a vision party not too long ago. And I just so happened, and definitely it's a God thing, I just so happened to be sitting right across from Nikki McBride. She had just finished praying for everyone in the building. And when I tell you her prayer was powerful, like I had chills. And then for God to place her right across from me, she had no idea what I've been dealing with the struggles in my mind. But for us to be connected, sitting at that table, coming up with our vision for the year, she poured so much in me and so much building me up in areas that I didn't even share with anybody. She just knew what I needed. Wow. But she has this wonderful, wonderful book that she's going to talk about. But Nikki, again, we're just so happy to have you on the show.
Oh my God, that intro right there gonna have me in tears. You already know that same feeling I get from you. And it's like you can't even put it all in words because you know it's such a God connection. But yet in that little short period of time, it made a major impact. And so I feel the same way with you. I feel like it's iron sharpening iron because there's some amazing things about you that I'm learning, when it comes to the business side. And so I appreciate you for even taking out time, wanting to help me to get a little more sharpened when it comes to the business side, because I'm good at the building, but sometimes we can learn more when it comes to the business side. And I think that's equally important. So I thank you for what you're doing. You're doing a great job too. So thank you.
Oh, you are so sweet. Okay, so you got to tell us about who is Nikki McBride. Tell us a little bit about Nikki.
Oh my God, Lord Jesus. Okay, do you want the raw and uncut or the professional side?
I want the raw and uncut. Through it again. Okay. Raw and uncut.
Okay, so I'm just a regular, ordinary young lady. I'm from Dallas, Texas. My husband, actually, he's from West Texas, and we met back in 1995. So when I met my husband, I was actually 18 years old. I was that young girl from Pleasant Grove. I don't know who knows about Pleasant Grove. that just, was trying to find herself. I didn't grow up with a father figure in my life. My mother, believe it or not, she was on housing. So I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth or in my hand. But I always had those dreams of having better. I think all of us had that vision and that dream that things can be better. But again, when you're in your own little box, that's all right? Is
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
see. And so again, I had a child at a very, very young age. I was a teenage mother. Thank God when I met my husband, he didn't have children at the time. He loved on me and my son for who we were. And that was a God moment in my life. And basically, prior to that, I was just that girl trying to find herself. I had a lot of gifts then, Deborah. uh Back in the day, I remember writing stories and used to rap and all that kind of stuff, like write
Okay.
rap songs. I
Okay.
know that sounds crazy, but I discovered that even then God had things in me that needed to be fine-tuned.
Yeah.
And that's when I discovered that being in the right environment has a lot to do what you become and the behavior that you project. So looking back, a lot of who I am today was already there.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. But that environment again has a lot to do with it. And so I'm very grateful that, I found that right environment. And I'm finding out as the older I get that you're still having to seek or create that atmosphere that's conducive to your growth. So, but that's
Right.
how I started. I started again with nothing but faith in God, teenage mother, looking for love, had gifts, but wasn't in the right environment to fine tune those gifts. So,
Okay. I mean, you're speaking a lot because I think a lot of people, wherever they are in their lives, the people that are listening or watching the show, they can definitely relate to that or feeling that where I'm at because of the things that happened in my past, I'm not good enough to step into where I think that God is calling me or what I should be doing. I don't know if I'm ready or I think I passed my moment of the moment that I'm supposed to be stepping into. But to listen and hear you talk about, hey, I was just this lost girl just trying to figure it out. And then listening to you realize that when you went back and looked back at your life, you were still the same Nikki. You just had to change the environment. And so a lot of people, as you're listening to this, if you're not hanging with people that you would want to switch places with, if you're not hanging with people that you're like, man, I'm inspired by what they're doing, if you're not hanging around people that when something good happens to you, you don't want to share it with them because you feel like they're going to feel some kind of way, you got to change your circle. You got to change your circle because there are people out here that want to see you successful, that want to celebrate you, that when you
yeah,
walk into the room, their whole their whole
yeah,
face lights up because they're so excited to see you. So
yeah.
talk to us a little bit about, okay, you met your husband, then you start getting into different environments. When did y'all start the audio business? Where did that come from?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Well, it's so crazy. We just literally left a rep right now in North Dallas, and we kind of went back down memory lane of how we all got started. And his love for music is what sparked that passion for sound. He used to be that guy that had the loud music coming down the street, right?
Yeah.
That was
Okay, you have to remind me, what would it be like? 212s in the back or
oh wow. Oh well,
two
you know what?
15s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was one of them people that like if I can make 110 or 112 sound like 212s, right?
There we go.
So his thinking have always been a cut above, but I never forget. I'm gonna make y'all laugh on this one. When I first met my husband David, he worked at AutoZone, right? And he used to have the pocket protector, like with the pins. I'm
He didn't
like,
want to mess up his shirt. He didn't
man,
mess up his shirt.
I'm being so real. Forgive me, Lord, for saying this, but I really looked at him like, the revenge of the nerds. Like, this is how,
Yeah.
but then the car didn't fit him. I was like, what? Like, okay, he like loud music, but he walk around with a pocket protector, like a nerd guy. But what happened in the midst of that, I remember, he loved music. Of course, I've always had like creative ideas and I remember him looking for a job, wanting to do sound, and I was just his girlfriend at the time. And there was this shop on Buckner. I just asked them where they're hiring. I got this friend of mine, he like audio video, and they end up hiring him to do car audio video. And of course, in between, he did more jobs. He did a lot of different people cars in the neighborhood, even prior. So I ain't gonna say I was forced to love it, but I was born into it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, from the car audio world. So from that, he had also a love for sound, like when it comes to home theaters. But back then, home theaters was like, people would think you're selling just bootleg movies. They didn't understand the concept of surround sound in family rooms. So
Right.
from there, he ended up working at a job and doing a lot of custom wiring for new construction homes, doing home theater systems and pre-wiring. And this was back again in the 90s. And so it was one of the things that I was birthed into, but it was from a love and a passion for music. It started with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. You know what I love hearing you say, as soon as you started talking about your husband, David, you forgot about you. Like you were just like, this is his passion. I'm going to make sure whatever God has put in you, it is shined out so you can be a vessel. So I just love that. And if you have not met Nikki, I'm telling you, missing out because she has so many gifts, like she's already kind of talked about. But one thing that is a beautiful gift that she has is the gift of seeing people for who they are and encouraging people where they don't think that they need to be encouraged. It's like she has that gift of being able to see where they're weak and she's going to shine light on how prosperous and how great they are. So
Wow.
just listening to you talk about your husband, I mean, just saying like who you
Oh my
are.
God.
And I'm saying this is true personal. Like this is what she did for
Wow.
me. And we ain't even got to that topic yet.
Wow.
So then like fast forward to you built this house and then you got this book. I know you keep looking at me. I'm trying to find my book because I've been writing all over it. The book that you like, where is my book? It's probably
you
my
Yeah, you can grab it if you want to grab it, and I'll just hold it up while you grab it.
yes, but talk to us a little bit about okay, you got Dave doing that, and then
Mhm.
y'all slowly transition into building custom homes.
Yes. So, of course, over the years, we started out of our house. I remember us going like from shop to shop, like people that do car wash or work on cars, just saying, hey, can we set up a flyer in here? Or, hey, can we, rent out a space like this? We were hungry. And I kind of give, like you said, I give honor to where honor is due. My husband, even when we would do car stereo at $35 to put a radio in, I remember him not wanting to go back to work, and I had to go to work. Somebody had to work, right?
Right, right.
But he believed so wholeheartedly into what we do. And I'm so grateful, and this is advice as women. I'm glad you brought this up. I know it's going in a different
That's
direction,
okay. That's what we're
but
here for.
it's good for women to know that if you do see something in your mate, especially if it's something that can benefit your family, or if it's something that they're passionate about, or something that they love, you do want to definitely get beside them. I
Mhm.
said beside them. And that's exactly what I did there. But I remember him at one time when we were down to one car, and it was slow during that time, and I had to go to work. But
Right. Right.
he believed so wholeheartedly in what we did. So he would actually, wait on a phone call to do audio, car audio.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lot of home again at that time. And it right now today it paid off,
Yeah.
So from there we met tons of people, and going back to the new construction homes, because he did a lot of pre-wire, we were exposed to tons of new construction homes all the time, right? And I mentioned the other day, I was actually on a podcast, and a question came up about, okay, so how did y'all get into the idea of doing it? And I was being honest. I said I really thought that was just for rich people, like,
Yeah.
and I don't know who's out here listening today, but when
Yeah.
people talk about building, now things have changed, right, over the last 3-4 years. But back then in the 90s or early 2000s, only rich people can build a custom nice home.
Right.
Not the shotgun house your granddaddy built in
Right.
Mississippi. That's a different. Because I remember people used to think that, okay, this person built, but when we got exposed to that, and then I mentioned when we met this couple, which is our client, okay, when they built their home and they were actually over the whole process, we were like, okay, wait a minute, where's the builder? Where the guy with the cowboy hat on? Like,
Wow.
where is the person? And they were like, we're the builders. And we're like, are you serious? And again, this is why we're doing our audio video business. We're wiring their home, but exposure really does expand your expectations.
Mm.
And that's going back to the right environment, right? And
Right.
so this couple, I never forget, Deborah, they said, we're building this 5,000 square foot home, Deborah, for $259,000. So we were like, wow. And so when we actually saw it, we were like, okay, this ain't the shotgun granddaddy house. This is like a grand home. Like, this is nice. And y'all actually paying the contractors. So from there, it just really, it just, we never forgot that experience. It messed up our mind. So in the back of our head, we always thought if we ever got that opportunity, now that we know better,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to do that? And so again, it seemed like it was a dream, like, okay, that's just so far away. But it's true. Whatever you believe, if you pray about it, it ain't nothing too hard for God. Like,
Wow.
everything we need is in the earth. He gave it within us. So
Wow.
that's where it sparked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really speechless by that, because that is something that it's just the mindset, because you saw somebody else doing it and you were like, okay, that's real, because you never thought it was even possible, because unfortunately, because we didn't grow up in that type of environment, we didn't see that every day. We felt like, okay, that's for a different type of people, that's just different folks, we can't do that. But
Yeah.
as you guys were exposed as business owners doing your thing, you realizing like, oh my gosh, they're really doing it. And when you made that comment, exposure expands your expectations. I'm
Yes.
not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that, because that's literally gonna be on my heart. I'm literally gonna armor that over my heart, that continue to be in places that you feel uncomfortable. Go
Absolutely.
where you're uncomfortable, because you need that level of exposure
Wow.
to get you to that next level of whatever God is calling you.
Wow. Well, you don't preach to me right there, because I feel like I'm just the most uncomfortable as I ever be. I haven't felt this uncomfortable since I can remember.
Oh my God.
So
And you're
again,
doing great.
I mean, I just, having the book, and I told you this personally, Deborah, and I'm not ashamed to say it openly, is new territory for me. Like,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother, and it's kind of like, well, it's just, but when you know what's in the book, when you know the liberation that people are getting out of it, I am getting a lot of good reports of like, oh my God, or this really, like, I'm crying. I'm hearing all kind of stuff. To I'm crying. To I don't know if I really want to build because I didn't know all that was involved. To, oh, I think I'm gonna just change my mind and I'm gonna build. However, I know the impact that it'll make when people really get it in front of them and really just center in on it. And because of that, it's like I'm so excited. Like, you know how you be ready to finish your house? Like, I'm ready to get it
Yes.
over with. It's like I want to get it out there as much as people as I can. So again, that's new territory for me. And then meeting you, right? Along with some amazing people, it's like, okay, Nikki, this is the business side when you're stepping into this world, this
Yeah.
arena. And so again, that uncomfortableness is where that come from. Like, I'm used to us just doing our home audio video and doing some design and go home. But this
Yeah.
time it's like, no, you got to step out a little bit more to reach more people.
Yeah.
And so, but you just said it so beautiful that that's important because that's what's expanding my expectations. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
goes both ways.
Right. And what I love about Nikki is the fact of she knows where she started, but she didn't let that be where she ended. She didn't say, well, you know what? I had a child young. This is just my life. This is where it's gonna be. She's like, you know what? I feel like I just saw somebody create a custom built. They just built their custom home. I can do that too. I'm not worried about what people think I shouldn't be doing or how I shouldn't do it. I really want you to talk to viewers about the naysayers, because I know I'm sure you have people, maybe not in your family, you that may have been naysayers that were saying, okay, Nikki, you can't do that. Like when you were about to start building your house, you probably have people that were like, should you really be doing that? How did you overcome that?
Man, that's a really, really good question. Let me bag up that couple, and they are in my book, The Trotters, right? And one day I plan on doing an interview with them. When I tell you, when they came to my small house, and when I lived in Lancaster, Deborah, which was a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom, they were blown away. Right. Like they literally kept going on and on about how amazed they were by the design. And they took a couple of ideas and incorporated in their larger home.
Wow.
So even in that, God tells us that even though it may look like you're here when it comes in the natural, but if you can see how God see you in the spirit, right? He said, don't despise small beginnings.
Oh, girl.
You know,
Oh my God.
so even then, even no matter where you're at, to whoever is listening, greatness is inside of you. So what you have, how you look, what's in your bank account, it doesn't define the real you. It doesn't define the core of who you are. And so when we begin to operate in the spirit of excellence, even in our what we consider our low places, and Deborah, I can't wait to hear your testimony. I know you're here to talk about me, but you know, you to me are so powerful too, because everything have happened so fast in your life. You know what I'm saying? But yet the fruit, it bears witness of what's inside of you. So with that being said, it's like when you know who you are and you're operating at your best when you have little, right? I believe God just really simply honors that and he multiply it. But what's amazing about God, it doesn't happen sometimes as quick as we want it. But if you look back at your life, you can see, as one of my friends said so beautiful, you can see the crumbs.
Yes.
You can see the crumbs, or in my book, I mentioned headlights. You
Yes.
can see the headlights. You can see like, oh, that was God that opened that door. Oh man, these people, they did use us, and they could have used this big $1 million company
Right.
because it was there all along. So I just believe that if we just operate in what we have and use the best out of what we got, God will take that little and he will make it much. So I had to change my mentality.
Mm.
Instead of complaining about that 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house when it was all tore down. I don't know if you saw that in the book yet, but I talk about the bathroom being dry rotted for a
Right.
long time there. But I'm talking about it was under that sink, and I know you don't see no plenty sinks, right?
Yeah.
So imagine you having to live like that, and you can't afford to get it fixed.
Right.
So I don't know who been there before, but it's like I know what I want, but I can't afford. But I remember that, and then I remember I don't. And my husband, because we had 1 bathroom, at times we have to go to the corner store
Yeah.
because both of us got to use it, right? Somebody got to go,
Right.
right? So thank God he was a gentleman. Of course, he didn't have a choice, but
Yeah.
he would go. So all of that took place. And I just remember God challenging me in a good way to be thankful. To be thankful. Like even when it was dust on the ceiling fan, I was complaining. He said, thank you for the dust. So
Mm.
when I started changing my outlook by, operating in the spirit of excellence, I was like, I'm gonna make this the most beautiful home once I get enough money, or even with the little bit I got, I'm gonna clean
Yeah.
it up the best I can. And then at the same time, I began to just utilize what I had. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And when I began to do that, I believe God honored that. And it just took us further than what I know. And
Right. Right.
I do believe that.
There is so much that you have said that I don't want to miss it. I don't want the viewers to miss it. I don't want to personally miss it. And what you're saying, and what I love what you're saying is enjoy where you are. So many of us in this culture that we're in, we chasing the next thing. I am privy, I do that too. We are
Yeah.
so focused on, well, I don't have this yet. And once I get this, I'm going to be so much happier. Or once I get this, that's where my joy is going to come from. But
Yeah.
listening to you, you were like, okay, I don't care what else happens. Maybe I won't ever get that custom house, but I'm going to make where I'm at right now as custom as it's going to be with the
Yes.
little that God has already given me. Instead of me just complaining, mourning over it, I'm going to just say, you know what, God, I appreciate this. The dust on the fan, I'm going to
Yeah.
appreciate it, that at least I have a fan that I can get dust on. And what were during that time, you're just shifting your mindset. And
Yeah.
all you're doing is shifting how you see things and how you view things. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, whenever I'm going through something like that, I'm looking back, I realize that God was just preparing me for this new season that was up ahead of me. But
Yeah.
I had to go through this feeling of like, okay, either you're going to be happy about this or you're going to complain about this. And and again, I don't know the Bible in and out, but I do know that God will continue to make you go through this mountain over and over again until you can overcome it. And then he can move you to another mountain. So
Yeah.
it's one of those like you were like, okay, I'm not going to complain no more. I'm going to take heed to wherever I'm at and know that this is where God has me.
Yes.
I know where I want to go, but in the meantime, in that middle that people are always running from, in
Yes.
that little ugly
Yes.
feeling where you're like, okay, this ain't where I'm not where I used to be, but I'm not
Yes.
where I want to be. But
Yes.
this middle, I'm gonna be thankful and know that eventually I'll get to where I need to be. That's powerful because I think a lot of us, especially on social media, you get caught up in looking at other people's lives and like, man, I want to be like them, or man, I want to do what they're doing. Oh man, they got 20 rental property. I want 40 rental properties, but you don't know what cost it takes to get what
Yes.
they're through. You don't know what they're going
Yes.
through. So it's one of those enjoy where you are because everybody's journey is different, but God needs everybody to stand in their own purpose so that
Yeah.
they can make an impact to other people.
Man.
So talk to us
Man.
about
That's good.
you're in your Lancaster house. How did we get to a point where we bought land and built a custom house and you were the builder? How did that work?
So going back to exposure in my heart and in that seed that was planted from this couple, right? I'm like, if we ever got that opportunity, you know what we're gonna do what the Trotters did. But in reality, when things start looking better, and what happened, I had a miracle baby. I don't know who may be listening and know. Basically, me and my husband had been together 18 years at the time, almost 20 years, and never conceived a child. So when I met my husband, I had a 4-year-old son, right? And him and my son, my oldest son and my baby boy, is 22 years apart.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was a miracle. I remember painting the walls, Deborah, Winnie the Pooh, like back in 2004. Like, believing God. I'm like,
Yeah.
baby, buying pacifiers, praying, and nothing ever happened. And I'm not going to tell y'all what I did. I did share it on the other podcast, but I wanted a baby so bad. But it's in the book because I'm really leading up to something. Like you said, how did I get that mindset? But it was pure faith. I've always walked in faith, and I can't give myself credit. I believe the Spirit of God helps us with our faith, right? It gives us that courage, it shifts our heart. So I talk a lot about that because I can't do it on my own. I need His Spirit, I need God's word to build my faith, right?
Yeah.
So just walking by faith. And so I remember, me desiring a baby, y'all, for so long. And then one day, no lie, devil. And it's so amazing that you said, Nikki, you give your all to, and you're right, I give my all to my husband. So I remember we had got a storefront in Grand Prairie, Texas, off of Lake Ridge Parkway. I don't know who's familiar with Lake.
Yeah.
We had a home theater store right there next to CBS, right? And Deborah, I remember me saying to myself, and even my husband, I was like, well, baby, since we ain't had a baby by now, maybe our business, my son is older, right? Maybe the business is our baby. So when you say put your all, I'm talking about 10 fingers, 10 toes. Honey, well, I just thank God, because I can't give myself credit. It's the Spirit of God that gave me that heart. Like, okay, baby, because again, our business is bearing fruit. You know, God is opening doors. He's showing us favor. So I know we're walking in purpose.
Right.
So literally, Deborah, a year later, like right at a year, miraculously, all these years, I get pregnant.
Wow.
No fertility, no I did something extra raise. I'm just joking, but did something crazy. None of that, you know. I just got that miracle baby. But see, when you look at the crumbs, right?
Yeah.
And that is just such amazing. When you look back at what God have already did in your life, it helps build your faith to the next thing, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when we had this miracle, come on, God is speaking today. Okay, so when we had this miracle baby, it was like, okay, baby, if my baby roll over 2 times, he gonna hit the wall, right? Because the house was 900 square feet.
Right.
And the garage made it 1,100 square feet. So it was very, very small. So I knew that we had outgrew that space. And then something was speaking to me, which we know that was God. I don't know where it came from. And I don't know, Deborah, when you took that leap of faith, because I love to hear your testimony again. But it's like, you know, something may happen in the earth, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, is this going to be interest rates? I don't know if everything going to go skyrocket, you know, with this inflation or the government alone. It's like something tell you, I need to move now. I
Right.
need to buy that house now.
Right.
Why
Right.
everything is still affordable. Or
Yeah.
am I right, Deborah?
Yes, you are speaking truth right now.
That's what I felt. I was like, okay, David, I feel like something is gonna happen in the earth. We need, and he was not trying to hear, y'all. He's a sweet man, but you know how these men are. They ain't trying to hear. He was comfortable because we actually paid that house off, Deborah. Yes. I wasn't getting no nails, no hair, none of that. You hear me? When we found out, we actually bought it from and I mentioned them in the book. I love this couple, the Ray family. It was one of our clients. And he was telling us his daddy was selling a house and it was owner financing. And at the time, it was like, I don't want that old house. Isn't this crazy? I almost rather stayed in a new apartment
Mm,
because you know how when you're young, I want something new that's
yeah.
old. And for y'all young people who's watching, you would never own an apartment. So it
Yeah.
don't even make sense. So why
Yeah.
would you, so this is a wake-up call for those that saying, I don't know if I want an older house. I want the new. No, Deborah, and all those that's listening. If it was not for that older 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with the rotted out floor in the bathrooms, or that one bathroom, we wouldn't be in this house.
Mm,
Isn't that amazing?
that's amazing.
So
That's
this
amazing.
couple allowed us to do what you call owner finance, and we actually went to what was that, Office Depot? Can you
And
believe
got
that?
a contract.
And got the contract, not notarized or nothing. And
Wow.
somebody's saying, "Well, what if these people change their mind? Like, you think those people gonna hand that title over to y'all?" But guess what we said, Deborah? We said, "Well, we'll never own an apartment. I'd rather take my chance."
Take
Okay.
my
Right. And this couple was so solid, this whole family, y'all. And going back to relationships, Deborah, you started off talking about that. Like, you want to keep those solid relationships. You don't want nothing to sneak in. You don't want to
yeah.
take it for granted, because I thank God even to this day for those people, because they trusted us,
Yeah.
and we trusted them. So I remember the daddy telling us, you can paint the house red, white, and blue. So we will pay that rent every month. I end up, getting pregnant. Remember, we got the storefront. So
Mm-hmm.
again, my faith level was up to the moon, and my husband wasn't trying to hear it. So one day, because I do believe in agreement, okay?
Yes.
I do believe, and you want to agree with your spouse and be on one accord. But that one day when he said, okay, we can go ahead and sell it, I took off like a rocket. Like, I was on the phone. I didn't even know realtors then. Isn't that great? I didn't know a one realtor. And
Wow.
I didn't know who to even call. I just saw a number on the side of a car and called the lady. Matter of fact, it was uh, Bobby Carrington. And I called her. I don't know if you ever heard of her. I called her not knowing who this person was and told her, hey, I want to sell our house. She was like, so where are y'all moving? When we met with her, I was like, I don't know. I just knew it was time to go.
Wow.
And so from there, we literally sold that house and we purchased land cash.
Wow.
That's what we did.
Okay. How big was the lot that y'all purchased?
The plot we purchased is right around 3 acres, almost two
Wow.
acres. Yeah, almost three. So when we did that, Deborah, we didn't have no credit. We thought like our credit shot, but guess what? Because we had a mindset, like going back to exposure, like our mind just believed God. You
Yeah.
know, we were like, I don't care if we got to pay cash for every trade. I
Wow.
don't care if we got to do a little here, a little there. We're going to have this house. And so by faith, I remember talking to Jose across the street thinking that he can build it. It was so hilarious. Because he was like, you need to talk to architect. And I'm like, no, Jose, we wrote it down. Just follow what I'm going to tell you. And Jose was right, Deborah. But our mindset just believe like, no, all you got to do, we going to go to Home Depot and get
Right.
the measurements. But so we met an amazing architect and I gave him the vision I had. My husband had gave me a notebook paper to begin to write it out. He got tired of me talking about it and it came to fruition just like that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay. I just want I want someone to just take a moment and think about what is God urging you to do in your heart that keeps nudging you. And every single time you try to focus on something else, God continues to nudge something in you. Because Nikki's talking about that nudge that she just kept saying, like, okay, this house is paid off. We're done with everything. Like, this is perfect for us. It's comfortable. But something inside of her kept saying there's more. Something inside of her saying you need to go do this. And she didn't never stop. She kept telling her husband, and he just kept saying, okay, okay. But then one day when he won in that agreement, when
Yes.
something told him, like, you know what, your wife been talking about this for a minute, you need to go ahead and agree. She ran with it. Instead of having cold feet or thinking, oh, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work, she kept going with it. Okay, so you buy this lot for 3 acres.
Hmm.
Then you're talking to
Hey, yes, almost three.
all 3 acres.
Almost
You're
three.
talking to
Yes.
and you Jose having to guide you and be like, okay, we don't do it that way. We gotta have written it up. Let's go to an architect so we can get
Yes.
all the plans together.
Yes.
And listening to you, you have a little bit of real estate experience, but not a whole lot.
No.
So how do you know the next step of, okay, really, how do I build this house? And again, all this is in the book, but we want little teasers of like, what did you do next?
Man, okay. So, of course, because we did a lot of renovations to the old house, because I didn't talk about that, but we did end up fixing it up. Thank you, God. So, we made it beautiful, right? God blessed our finances. So, we had the background of construction when it come to renovating, right? However, going back to connections, relationships, I'm
Mhm.
going to be wise enough to go back to the people, of course, that inspired me, of course, and like,
Yeah.
hey, try to, can you believe this? I'm ready. And I think it shocked them. Like, this girl was serious. Like, she
Yeah.
ready, they don't bought land. What? But he was honest enough to tell me at the time that he was, he didn't have the time. He was like, Nikki, I don't want to do y'all a disgrace, but we really don't have the time. And I remember thinking to myself, Deborah, if I could just pay this certain amount, to me, it's worth it. You don't have to come out there. You all you can do is just answer the phone. Like if I have
Right.
a question or if I get in a jam where it's like, okay, what do you do when it comes to this? Because of course, professionals and experienced people have the answer, right? And we
Right.
don't want to put ourselves out there on a limb. So we want to use wisdom. So I remember him saying, you know what, Nikki, I can't do it for you. But that same amount you said, which to me at that time, just to answer the phone and you don't have to come out unless it's just super important. To me, I thought $5,000 was fair. And I did. I said that word. And he looked at me and he said, Nikki, you said five. That's how much I think this guy charged. There's a guy that
Wow.
consults with people that want to build their own home, where you build your own home, but you pay a fee just to consult.
Right.
So that right there was like, okay, God, you like when you begin to just take that one step, God take about 50
Right. Right.
every single time. So you got me excited talking about it, but that's what happened. So it's like everything began to fall in line. We bought we first drew it up without land, right? Then we bought the land, of course. And then
Right.
we go back to the people we've been knowing, and they just didn't have the time, which is great. He was honest. He prefers to a consultant, right? So even in the consultant, we're still like, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to come out our pocket. We just need that experienced person when it comes to building. And that's where the 30 years of experience came from. He have
Right.
over that, along with a lot of contractors that we got research and experience from. So from that, we began to go ahead and execute, not knowing, oh, our credit is what? Like, wow, we thought we was gonna just do this somewhat, I don't want to say the hard way, but a way of us coming out our own finances. So
Right.
everything just began to speed up. And that's just what happened. And when I say build your own home, I mean writing the checks to the contractors,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Getting your own permits from the city. I'm just
Right.
making that clear because I think sometimes when I say that, some people think that it's another builder
Right.
involved
In the
that
back.
actually did, build it, and you're saying I built it.
Right.
No, I was having stone in my Escalade, old truck from North Dallas, the stone place, when they ran out of stone. So
Yes.
many times, from tile to stone to whatever type of piece of wood or whatever we went short on, I was getting it. But I was determined, because when it's your dream home and it's something that you've been praying about, you don't care what's going on. You're
Mm-hmm.
like how they say, what is it?
It's tunnel vision. You just
You
like,
thank you.
I'm in it. I'm
That
in.
that you know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like you have though, you just don't see nothing else. So you're right, Deborah. It wasn't no social media existed for me. I don't even know what that was. No phones, no lot of talking on the phone with people. I mean, I was so focused, and it
Yeah.
really did happen. And I just want to share that with the world. Like, it can
Yeah.
happen to you
It
too.
can
It can
happen.
happen. I mean, it's just that I know it sounds simple, but it's true.
But it
And
starts here. It
it
starts with your
started
mind
here.
and believing that you deserve it,
Yes.
believing that God's gonna open it up for you.
Yes.
So talk to us about, we build this house. So before, you went, this 3 bedroom, 1 bath, and you said less than 1,000 square feet. Now you built your custom home. You know, our guests are nosy because I'm nosy. Tell us, what's the square feet, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and if you follow Nikki on her page, she has a reel where you can see how beautiful this house is. But tell us, what did God bless you with this house? What's the square feet and the number?
Okay. I have never said this openly, and I think I'm gonna get to what it costs. I have never said this openly. Devin know me enough. I'm the friend that's like, come on, Nikki, come on
Right,
out. But
right.
I want to share it so bad, so I'm just gonna give it because I want other people to have the
Yeah,
same.
people need to see that this is possible.
Yeah. So the square feet is around 3,700 square feet. However, we added on a little bit with the back porch. It's covered, so it make it around 5,000, right?
Wow.
And with that, we paid. Well, how you said how many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Is
How
what you
many bedrooms, bathrooms?
okay? So bathrooms, one, two, three, four,
Okay.
four, four
Bedroom.
bedrooms. Bedrooms. Keep in mind, it's me, David, and my baby, and he sleeps with us still. But so all together it's four. But we have actually two sound rooms because we do audio video. So we
Yeah.
have the media room, and then we have another one, and
Yeah.
that was supposed to be for the children, like one media room for the kids and one for the
Wow.
adults. But we kind of all be together, so it's everybody's room, right?
Right. I love.
So yeah. But what's amazing about it, it's on 2.8 acres. For the whole construction alone was just $300,000.
Wow. And when did you build this?
2018.
2018. That
Yeah.
wasn't too long ago, guys.
Yeah.
That she was able to build almost a 5,000 square foot home,
Yes.
living space about 34 square feet for less than $300,000. But she was the builder, and when she said she was in that Escalade with stone and everything else, she had stone in there, she had doors in there. It wasn't nobody else that she had to call to go off on. It was like she was talking to the contractors. She went out and found the contractors. She was stepping out on faith, and God continued to give her the right person that she needed at that time. God continued
Yeah.
to give her. So she was stepping out on stuff that she didn't even know was even there. She didn't
Yeah.
even know what steps it was. She just was like, let me just take this first step and watch how God moves. Let me take this next step and watch how God moves. A lot of us, including myself, we won't take the step because we want to know all 10 steps before we get there. And we're afraid of the fear of it breaking down and falling over and it's not working and we fail, but not realizing that if God has put it on your heart, he's not a man that he's going to lie in the first place. So
Yeah.
two, he's just wanting to see, do you really trust me like you say you do? Do you believe that I am God, the all-knowing and
Yes.
almighty, like I say I am?
Yes. Yes.
You only really know how God is when you in that season of like, okay, I know I can't do this, but God. Like I know it's not in my own strength, but with God. So
Yeah.
talk to a lot of the viewers, even to myself, when you are in that moment. Now you going back, you have this beautiful house. What advice can you give to somebody that quite doesn't think that they deserve it or that they should be doing that?
Wow. That is one of the best questions today. First, I want to say that you are created to create by
Mm,
nature.
yeah.
When I say by nature, God put that in your DNA. Like
Yeah.
you were born to create. Just like an ant makes an anthill,
Yeah.
what is it that the beaver makes the dam,
Yes.
the bird makes the nest.
Yeah.
You are created to have a house.
Woo!
Gotta say that like that. Grab that. That's natural.
Yeah.
That's not something that is superficial or this is for vain. We're not talking about the beauty of the house. We're talking about
Yeah.
the value of the house. We're
Yeah.
talking about the importance of a home
Yeah.
according to the Bible. Like you said, Deborah, God said in his word to build your life as you build a house. He
Mm,
doesn't say build your life like you build a boat or as you build a car or as you build or I don't even know what to say, a chair,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why did he illustrate building life to he equated with a house. And
Yeah.
so what I learned through that, devil, is that because with a house there's an ongoing process
Mm,
uh as far as building. Even
right.
though we're finished with this house, we're still having to manage this house,
Right.
right? So
Right.
it's never like you at a point where, okay, we can
It's
just
just
not,
done.
it's just done. And that's just like our life. So I want to just encourage you that's listening that God put those visions and dreams in you because they're from him. And his
Mm,
desire is for you to have the desires of your heart because he put that
mm,
desire in there and he created you to be able to do it. But unlike a dog or unlike a bird or any of the other creature, he gave us his image. So he gave us the power to get up and to begin to utilize what he put in our hands. So the
right.
secret is just working with what you have in your hand and watch God multiply and get the education you need. Get in those environments that's conducive to what you need to grow. Like
Yeah.
again, when it comes to career, you may need this person. When it comes to flipping, Deborah is a good person. Like I need that type of education to flip. When it comes to, I want to learn more about building a house. You want to grab your Created to Build book.
That's it. That's the book.
Okay. So you got to get in that environment that's going to help you get what you need in that particular area so you can begin to grow.
Yeah.
And you have the power to do that as
Right.
you get up and make that one step. And that's just where, again, sometimes I think we be waiting on somebody to start shouting for us and cheering. But I'm going to tell you the truth, Deborah. And I pray that we get this, all of us, because it's not like you arrive, right? It's not like I don't arrive. And like I just openly said, I'm in a whole nother chapter of life. I'm in a whole nother territory, a whole new level of faith. What I have found out is that, and God spoke this to me one day. He said, you must become your biggest cheerleader.
Yes. Woo. That's a word right there. That's a word. That's a word.
Am I right, Deborah?
That's so true.
You're not going to have nobody can see your vision like you. So you
Mm-hmm.
literally have to learn how to encourage yourself. And in my book, I talk about my grandbaby actually ripped it. In my book, I talk about the joy. You know, what is that thing that give you joy?
Yeah.
The Bible said that Jesus saw the joy that was set before him, and he stayed on that cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me that that joy was us.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So in my spirit, my joy was seeing my husband in his theater room watching his movies, my husband listening to his music, my kids playing, my baby boy, my oldest son playing basketball. You know, my family coming over and we're celebrating life together, and my close friends. That was my joy to keep me going. So when you have something before you, whether it's your grandkids, your babies, your young people that you may be mentoring, your niece and nephew, or just even your spouse, or just a family and friends, when you have something before you, like I want them to experience this joy of us having this place that we call home. And that right there alone literally keeps you going, even when you want to stop.
Right.
Even when you get tired, even if you get talked about or misunderstood, because you understand that this is bigger than you, because it's not just about you, it's about building legacy. It's about leaving generational wealth. And we're at a time, and Deborah, I want you to tell me your thoughts on this like never before. I personally think we got maybe 2030, Deborah, to really get on our grind. And I'm praying that God give me more wisdom on what I need to do to get myself in order, right?
Right.
In position, because this is the time now to move as God leads you to, right? Because we don't know what's going to change with all this new technology, with AI taking over the job market, businesses closing down. So if people not able to work, how they're going to use us as as business?
Very, very, very true. I do agree with you on that. And one thing I want to share this because again, I had just met Nikki, like it's been 2-3 months, maybe 3, not even that much. And again, I sat across from her at some random event that I was late to, and just so happened that I'm sitting across from Nikki. I tell her like, "Oh my gosh, your prayer was, oh my gosh, oh amazing." And then we start talking, and I'm sharing this because I don't think I've shared this with anybody other than the people like close to me and my family, that my husband and I, we would like to build a house for our kids because we are kind of overgrown the house we're living in right now. Nikki didn't know that I have been thinking about selling the lot that we had already bought, that we were going to build this house, because I'm just getting overwhelmed. I'm feeling fear. And I know that sounds so crazy because I'm always talking about just do whatever you feel like you need to do, let God use you. But in those moments, it's easy for me to help other people get to their end destination. And sometimes I had to realize, like, oh, I don't think Deborah's ready for that. Or I don't think Deborah deserves that. I can tell everybody else, hey, you value this, is what you need to do. You deserve this. Again, I didn't know Nikki. Nikki didn't know me.
No.
The things that she told me at that table was as if she had a glimpse into my heart and to tell me that you deserve to build this house. And the same things that she just said, that it's not about you, it's about your kids being able to live in this house and see the expectation of their exposure, to see what what possibilities there are, so that your siblings can see what's possible. So that my mom and dad can say, hey, like my daughter was able to do this, build this. Like what legacy is she going to set for everyone around her, that this is possible? again, I didn't know Nikki. Nikki did not know me. But the things that she said and what she's saying right now, like, she is so powerful in what her gifts that God has given her. And that true belief of your gifts will make room for you is definitely in Nikki's life right now. And I don't think I've ever told you this, Nikki, but you didn't know me. You didn't know nothing about me. By the time we left, we had exchanged numbers and we have literally talked every week for at least an hour every week and just encouraging me. I'm encouraging her as she goes into this new world of doing more different businesses with her book and possibly about to start a course. And she's helping me with me building this house and getting things together with the city and all of these things. But you just never know what God is up to. And I say it's a God moment, but I want to just outwardly tell you thank you for saying things to me that you didn't know I really needed to hear to
Thank
get
God.
me past that level of like, I was really going to sell that lot and I was just going to be,
Wow.
we're going to stay where we're at because we're comfortable. It's paid off. We don't
Wow.
need nothing else. Like everything is good for us. But you nudging me and you telling me things that I only told myself in quiet secrecy.
Wow.
I'm just telling you that this
Wow.
is really God. And there's
Yes,
moments in your life where God is telling you something, and sometimes you may overlook it. Sometimes you may say, oh, no, that's not what I need to do because it's so crazy. It's something that's totally different than what you ever thought would even be possible. Go with that because God is not only trying to use you, He's trying to change the trajectory of everybody around you.
Yes.
Sometimes it's scary. You just got to do it. So tell us,
Thank you.
where can they find the book? Where can they pick up this book? Put the book back up because
Man.
I can't.
Oh, yeah. This is Created to Build by Nikki McBride. You can order this on my website, which is createdtobuild.net, or you can go on Amazon, created. Yay, you
I
got
found it.
your copies look a lot better than mine. I've been, it's mine, but when I tell you, because God wrote it through me, somebody asked me a question. They said, did you really write? I
She
hear
really
this.
wrote it,
Can
guys.
I be transparent? They like, did you really write that? Or did you have somebody? I'm saying this on live camera. Nobody helped me write it. No
Yeah.
ghost writing. Nobody on the side I paid. No type of internet. God Almighty. It took me over a year, y'all. Like right at a year. And it was me going back and forth on the airplane when we was traveling, Delba. Some days I stayed up all night long and had
Yeah.
the same clothes on. Just whatever was coming out of me, I wanted to give my best.
Yeah.
And God know that. So you're going to get the best of me and more so God through this book. But you can get it on Amazon as well. That
Right.
right there, what she got up there, Created to Build by Nikki McBride. Yes, that's it right
That's
there.
it.
And then the journal is so good. Yeah, this book
Oh,
is
yeah.
loaded.
This is the journal.
Yes, that to me is perfect for like realtors, for your clients. If you're trying to keep your clients calm, you want them to be in agreement with you, right? Like, don't go to spending all your money and swiping that card while you're on vacation, right? Or just to even create that atmosphere that, hey, I want to see you win. I want to see you have your home desires. Or even if you desire a home, and I'm saying that specifically for realtors because my desire is to meet more, to be able to share this journal with them in particular, to help them with their clients and everyone that I have met thus far light up. Like, I
Yeah.
need this. This
Yeah.
is perfect. Where have this been? So I specifically wrote that for everyday people, even if you're not a realtor. I think any and everybody need that journal
Yeah.
because why? Everybody deserves a home,
Everybody
right?
deserves a home.
And
Yeah.
so, yes, you will find that in the journal, but in the book, it talks how to actually build a house from A to Z with intricate details. In the back, the first section is spiritual. It's about building your spiritual home. And then I share a little me and David's home journey. But the back of the book, it gives you everything that you need to know while you're even looking for land, as far as HOAs, things to consider, what type of taxes that may need to be paid. I mean, it's a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm.
The electrical, it's a lot of detail that you may not necessarily need to just know, but it's good to know
It's
if
good
you're
to
even
know.
working with a builder, or just to know, okay, what's all involved. And I just went the extra mile to do that because I want everybody to just experience the home of their dreams on a budget. On a budget.
That
Yeah,
on budget.
on a
Okay,
budget.
how can people get connected with you? How can they follow you, get in your life? How can they get you?
All right. My Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is Created to Build by Nikki. That's it. Created to Build by Nikki. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And again, the website is createdtobuild.net. I think that's,
Yes.
yeah.
Guys, I mean, those of you that are listening, watching, please, please go get this book by Nikki. I'm telling you, you
Thank
will
you.
be blessed. Every time I talk to her, I feel like I'm rejuvenated. Like, okay, let me go do what I really don't want to do because I know God is calling me to do this.
Yes.
And follow her on social media. I'm telling you, you will be so blessed and so encouraged and so motivated. And I think one thing I just want to make a note of is that it is powerful to have two Black women on here that are talking about how good God is and how our husbands have helped us to see more in us than we ever thought was possible. And I just want to tell you, thank you. Thank you. Nikki is also working on her course. He's also working on his. She's actually going to be I'm honored that she's willing to help me and consult me as I'm working on building this house. But y'all can't tell anybody about this house because there's nobody's supposed to know about this house.
Yeah.
Anybody about this house.
Inspiration.
So stay prayed up for us. But again, thank you guys so much for listening, watching. Stay encouraged, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Keys to Success podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to listen to more, be sure to subscribe to Apple Podcast and YouTube for our latest episodes.
Check out our show notes for more information on mentorship, private money lending, or if you just want to be a guest on our podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.